Donald Trump's former primary opponents endorsed him for president at the Republican National Convention last night, and Congress is ramping up its investigations into the shooting at Trump's campaign rally over the weekend. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Former primary rivals of Donald Trump spoke at last night's Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. NPR's Sarah McCammon says all the speakers endorsed him for president, including rivals from the 2016 convention.
I couldn't help but remember that moment 8 years ago when Texas Senator Ted Cruz was booed at this same convention, after mounting one of the most significant challenges in that primary to Trump. Tonight he opened by saying, "Thank God for Donald Trump." And in much the same way, Nikki Haley was the most significant primary challenger this year. She had called Trump unhinged. She had said, just as recently as February, that many of the same politicians who publicly embrace Trump privately dread him. Tonight, she fully embraced him.
NPR's Sarah McCammon reporting. Congress is ramping up investigations into the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. NPR's Giles Snyder reports the Senate will get a briefing on the incident today.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced the briefing, saying it will be held over the phone and senators will be briefed by the Justice Department, the FBI, and the Secret Service. The Senate Homeland Security Committee has announced a bipartisan investigation, and at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, House Speaker Mike Johnson said the American people deserve answers.
Everyone hear me clearly and listen to me at home and make no mistake. The House is conducting an immediate and thorough investigation of these tragic events.
The first congressional hearing is scheduled for Monday next week. Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle is set to testify before the House Oversight Committee. Giles Snyder, NPR News.
A group of Democrats is circulating a letter urging party leaders not to move up the process to formally nominate President Biden before the Democratic National Convention next month. NPR's Deirdre Walsh has more.
Some Democrats are pushing the brakes on an effort by party leaders to hold a virtual vote next week to formally nominate Biden as the presidential nominee, an exercise usually conducted during the party's convention. Before the president's poor debate performance against GOP nominee Donald Trump, party officials plan to hold a virtual roll call next week due to possible legal challenges to the ballot posed by an Ohio law. The party is split about whether Biden should remain the nominee. Some Democrats are circulating a draft letter, arguing there's no legal justification to accelerate the process, and it would be viewed as a, quote, purely political maneuver. Deirdre Walsh, NPR News.
In southern Illinois, several hundred people living near a dam in the town of Nashville were ordered to evacuate this week. Heavy rain this week has triggered flooding that's overtopped the nearby dam. There are no reports of injuries. Severe storms have swept through the region in recent days. A woman in Indiana was killed when a tree fell on her home. This is NPR.